evening, everyone. The April 2022 Brookhaven Borough Council meeting will now be called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing, everyone. Madam Mayor.
Good evening. The deceased residents for the month of March 2022. Someone very near and dear to our heart here at the Borough, Mary Ellen Buttle McKinley, our longtime Brookhaven Borough Secretary. Ann Catone, Ralph Lee Hall Jr., Hirisi Nicolaitis, Dolores Walters, Elaine Reckner Ward, Robert Glenn, Gloria Marinaki, and Celeste Gentile. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Willard, would you give us a roll call, please? Mr. Willard.
Mr. Heller.
Present.
Mrs. Dukes.
Here.
Mrs. Heller.
Present.
Mayor Leslie.
Present.
Mr. Vasquez.
Here.
Ms. Sawicki.
Present.
Mr. Pappas.
Here.
Mr. Gilroy.
Here.
Mr. Wills.
Here.
Mr. Catania.
Here.
Mr. Willard. Mrs. Boyle.
Present.
Chief Montella. Here. Chief Vice. Roll call complete.
Thank you, Mr. Willard. State Representative Leanne Kruger. Would you come forward, please? Representative Kruger has a grant presentation on behalf of the Brookhaven Borough Police Department and a service presentation to former and beloved Borough Secretary Mary McKinley's family. Good evening.
Thank you so much, Council President. Good evening, Council. Good evening, Mayor. It's an honor to be back with you here in Brookhaven. I'd like to do the condolence citation first, if that's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So I had like so many of us, the honor and privilege of knowing Mary. I remember every time I would come into the office here, she always had a kind smile. I would always see her at Family Day with her grandchild, and she was always kind and tried to serve the residents of Brookhaven with kindness and empathy. I was able to attend her funeral, but I did not yet have the condolence resolution back from Harrisburg. We ordered it the moment that we heard, so I'd like to read this on behalf of Mary.
Family can step forward if you so please.
Family come up.
Come on up to the front.
Sorry to put you in the spotlight, folks. Thank you so much for your mom's service. She was, again, a great public servant. So I have a bipartisan condolence resolution on behalf of the House of Representatives. I drove this back on Wednesday after session to make sure that we'd have it here in time. Whereas the House of Representatives of Pennsylvania wishes to honor the memory of Mary Ellen Buttle McKinley, who passed away at the age of 78 on March 11, 2002. And whereas the daughter of the late Edward H. and Ruth Almond Seeley, Ms. Budley McKinley was a 1962 graduate of Haverford High School. She served as secretary for Upland Borough for 5 years and as manager of Brookhaven Borough for 30 years before her retirement in 2020. An accomplished seamstress, Mary sewed her own wedding dress and bridesmaids' dresses and also made children's clothing. A longtime parishioner of the Church of Our Lady of Charity, she enjoyed baking, gardening, and spending time with her family. And whereas a beloved family member, dedicated worker, and avowed community steward, Ms. Buttle McKinley exemplified the best qualities of the human experience. She generously gave of her heart and time to enhance the quality of life of her family and community, and her loss will be felt by the many individuals that she knew, admired, and loved her. And this is, again, on behalf of the House of Representatives. So thank you so much. When someone's in public service, the whole family serves. And with 30 years serving Brookhaven, each of you are a testament to that. So I'm so sorry for your loss, and thanks so much for sharing Mary with us. It's important to remember folks when they pass, when they've contributed so much to our communities. And now a more joyous note. So I had the honor of being here in Brookhaven last summer when your new police chief was sworn in. I met him that day and got to have a conversation about his plans for the department. And he was very persistent. He reached out very quickly after that meeting and invited my chief of staff and I to come over just a couple weeks later. And at that moment, he shared his vision for taking the Brookhaven Police Department through accreditation. Now, this is a process I didn't know much about a year ago, but I watched as the Nether Police Department in another part of my district went through it, and really have come to believe that this process, the accreditation process, is really setting up the guidelines, the values, the principles that we need to keep our police officers safe and also our community members safe. And we've seen some tough things in Delaware County recently. I was very excited to hear that council overwhelmingly supported the chief's vision. And so we were able to work in partnership with Chief Vice and with council on a grant application in Harrisburg. Now, I've learned things take a lot longer than I want them to. They always take a long time to come through. So it's been many months that we've been working together, but we do finally have the check. I drove this back from Harrisburg after voting session as well. So Chief, I'd love to present this to you and any members of council who'd like to receive it as well.
Well, I'm doing the video.
Well, do the video. We need the video. Lila wants to see the video.
Who's first?
66.
Hey, Florence.
Pays for the whole thing, really.
He's so excited.
This is how.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And for the community members in the audience, again, I didn't know what police accreditation means. It means that your department is really committed to doing everything they need to do to keep your officers safe and your community safe. They're going to put the policies and principles in place. It's an expensive process, which is why the chief sought some help out of Harrisburg to pay for it. I'm going to be advocating now that Pennsylvania invest more money in this process because I think we can avoid a whole bunch of problems if every department followed the lead of Brookhaven. And I believe, Chief, that you will be the first borough to be accredited in Delaware County?
If not the first, one of the first. Yeah.
One of the first. So again, we should all be proud of your leadership and the leadership of council here too. Thanks, gents, folks.
Thank you. Thank you, Rep. Kroger. Thank you, Chief. Vice. Ms. Ford. Good evening, Ms. Ford.
Good evening, everyone. Alrighty, the Coburn Elementary School report for this month. We've had a really busy month at Coburn Elementary. I'll start off with the Coburn Elementary STEM team, of course, science, technology, engineering, and math. The STEM team recently participated in the Delaware County STEM Challenge. 60 teams from Delaware County schools competed this year. The students met before school for several months, brainstorming, designing, developing, building, and implementing a solution to an engineering problem using Connect's building materials. For the competition, students were required to submit a blueprint, build their project from scratch on the day of the competition, while judges were monitoring progress and teamwork, and then they interviewed with the judges to explain their design and blueprint, and then discuss the problem it solves while presenting their working STEM project. Students are judged on teamwork, creativity, design, presentation, and success of their challenge project. Congratulations to the Coburn Elementary STEM team on winning 2 of the 9 categories. With 60 teams competing, Coburn won 3rd place overall in the county for their hydro mobile project, and they also won best in the county for their blueprint design of their solar tricycle project. So we're really proud of our STEM team over at Coburn Elementary. And then our winning writers at Coburn Elementary School this month. Coburn's excited to announce 3 winning writers of the American Legion Americanism Essay Contest for the Memorial Unit 926. 3 winners from Coburn Elementary were named and will be invited to attend the Americanism program at Post 926, where students will have an opportunity to read their winning essay and receive an award. The Americanism Essay Contest was created to teach students the value of patriotism and what it means to be an American. Thousands of students across the nation participate in this program each year to help promote a lifelong respect of flag and country. Through the contest, students do explore fundamental rights and freedoms we enjoy today. Each year is a different theme, and this year's focus was how can we provide support to families who provide care to their veterans. So congratulations to our 3 winners in that contest. Thank you again to the Brookhaven Police Department for spending time with our Coburn Elementary Cougar Pride Paw winners this month. The students were rewarded an exciting game of basketball with Chief Vice, Detective Habak, Officer Martin, Officer Easton, and Officer Roller They had an exciting game of basketball with our students, and of course our students absolutely loved it. We also celebrated World Down Syndrome Day this month at Coburn Elementary, along with all the other PDSD schools. We rock our socks to raise awareness, rock our crazy socks, actually, to raise awareness for Down syndrome. Students and staff wore their crazy socks on March 21st, which is World Down Syndrome Day. The socks were sold at the schools for $2 a pair. Proceeds benefit the Down Syndrome Association. And then, of course, we celebrated Read Across America this month. Students and staff participated in Spirit Week, themed books, and the Coburn PTO hosted a fabulous book fair for our students. And again, if you'd like to check out all the amazing things happening at Coburn Elementary, follow us on Twitter at CoburnES.
Are we still doing the reading counts to million word?
We are, and we do have some. So I will be sending the names your way, and then hopefully now that we can get back to inviting our students over,
That'd be great.
and then hopefully maybe we can also honor our STEM award winners as well at the same, if we could invite them. Also, it's a pretty exciting contest, and our Americanism writers. We're also, so yes, that will be May or June meeting. I will be inviting them. But thank you.
Email it to John.
Okay, I'll email John.
Yeah,
You're welcome. All right, thank you.
thank you.
Can I ask, who won the basketball game between the students and the police officers?
Did you? I don't know. Did you let them win?
No, we didn't let it.
Oh no, they didn't let them win. So the officers won, right? No, they had a blast. It was so much fun. Yeah, and the pictures are on Twitter, so if you'd like to see them. But it was a lot of fun, and thank you again. And then we're pretty excited about the escort that's happening this week, which is a follow-up to the introduction to the trading card program. We have our 4 winners, so we're super excited. On Thursday morning, the students will be escorted to school by our Brookhaven Police Department. So it'll be a pretty exciting morning on Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ford. That brings us to the first public discussion session. Is there anyone that would like to speak for public discussion? If so, please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record. Come on up, sir. Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Jeffrey Todd. I live in 125 Truman Boulevard, Brookhaven. I am just submitting a proposal for a federal firearm license for a part-time in-house business. And I'd be happy to take any questions that you guys have.
Mr. Gavin. Pass Mr. Gavin a microphone, please. Make sure it's turned on. Do you have the proposal in front of you from Mr. Todd?
I did see his proposal, yes.
What is your best professional opinion? Does it meet?
Well, it's not a no impact on his business.
Okay.
It's be I guess, a slight impact. He wants to transfer some guns from his property and do some transfers. So, it doesn't meet criteria.
How many do we have in the borough presently, with the exception of the business on Edgemont Avenue?
That I do not know.
Mr. Pappas, I hate to put you on the spot. I believe you mentioned some time ago that we would, quote, be surprised at the amount of FFLs
There's a
that
couple.
are in the borough presently.
Yeah. There's one across from the, almost across from the CVS, in the front where the barber shop is.
That's commercial now, and he's actually changed the way he does business. He now has a bit of a showroom. Do we have any that you recall?
No, I do. I personally deal with a guy in Aston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The two people that I knew that had them home businesses have gotten out of the business now. I can't really say I know another one. There was a period of time when I was working on the force, there was quite a few of them.
Mr. Gilroy, are you doing an FFL search as we speak, I would imagine?
I am. I've currently seen already
Because
4.
I honestly forgot to do it, so I appreciate you doing it. So you have 4 in the borough of Brookhaven?
Yes, we just quickly going through, yes.
Correct. I don't want to give away my personal business. The gentleman I use is in Lenai, and I don't know of any issues that he has ever had. Pretty nice house, very nice neighborhood. It's got a nice setup. Council, weigh in your opinions, if you shall.
I personally don't see any, major opposition for this going in, and for my point of view. I think it's really going to just be a low-impact business. At most, you'll have maybe 1, 2 cars out,
Yeah, it'll be by appointment only.
and I'm assuming you have a full-time job on top of this as well,
Correct, sir.
so it's probably going to be after hours, probably
Correct.
either weekends or after 5 p.m., I would assume.
Yeah, yep.
So
That's generally the way it works. I don't think you can predict your volume. Give us your predicted volume at this point. 3 to 5 cars pulling up to your house a week, coming in, doing the background check, getting the gun that they bought on, say, gun broker or whatever, or if it was a person-to-person transfer, you handle them also?
Correct.
So,
Correct. It'll be in person and online sales.
okay. And you said, Mr. Gilroy, what are you up to here?
I'm for it.
No, I mean 4? As far as,
So far 4. That is residential, not just.
So you have 4?
Yes.
Mr. Todd, I take it you have a large safe to put everything away?
Yes, sir.
And your intention is to put them away every single night? Any firearm that's out, there won't be like a display case that's left open?
No, sir. Every
Not
night?
Left open, left exposed, really?
No, sir.
To like possibly a burglary?
No. And I have a security system with cameras and sensors in every door.
How often are you inspected, and who handles that? The ATF?
ATF, sir.
So you have to meet the stringent guidelines,
Correct.
ATF guidelines?
Correct.
Okay.
And they can drop in anytime they want.
Yeah, sure. And I'm going to invite the public to speak if they so choose after council is done discussing this. Anyone else?
Do you have an expected of how many transfers you expect? Because I know the FFL doesn't just want average citizens having this. They do want this to be a business.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea what you're expecting? I understand it's really hard. You're just starting.
Yeah, first starting out, maybe 5 a week at first. I'm
Pretty good.
I'm expecting to get
Okay.
more, but yeah, probably about 5 a week.
They're in your house. A background check takes 10 minutes, if I recall. It's been a while.
5 to 10 minutes.
It's been a while since Mrs. Heller's allowed me to purchase a firearm, but it's 10, I think it's 10, 15 minutes. I think it takes 10 minutes, and if you chit-chat, 20 minutes, and they're gone. Really no impact to me. And again, you meet the stringent guidelines and requirements of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. So
I guess my question really
you
is,
already, go ahead.
do we have a list of these 4 or 5 people in this town that are doing this so that the police have this information? And are they paying taxes?
Mr. Vice, I'm sure you have a list of these individuals, correct?
We get notified when we do that, as somebody new applies, we can have a running list, and it's only as they apply. So I knew about this.
Okay.
Yeah, I gave him a photo application before.
Is there anyone on council that would like to add anything else? Mrs. Fuchs, you look eager.
They're running a business, they should be paying taxes.
By appointment only, he said that twice.
Well, I think Janice hit it on the head about them being registered.
Mhm.
They have to pay their taxes.
Correct.
Business taxes, not real estate. We should have a list. We should know in the office who it is, so we know that are the taxes coming in.
Well, sure, that's a whole nother discussion. Anyone else on council have anything? I don't see anyone in opposition. Mrs. Heller, would you like to add anything? Mr. Gilroy, you seem okay with it. Mr. Pappas? Mrs. Fuchs? Mr. Vasquez, you're fine with it. I don't really have a problem with it. I don't see any reason to put this gentleman through through a zoning process. So, however, I would like for anyone that's in the audience to step up and speak if they oppose. Is there anyone opposed here? Or anyone that would like to comment otherwise? Excuse me?
I got yelled at.
Stop talking over me. Okay, I guess that's it. It doesn't require a former council vote, I believe. Mr. Gavin, do you have anything else to add?
I do not.
And you are in support of it?
Yes. I mean, there's many municipalities that have these.
Sure, they have plenty. If you do an FFL search, you find them in every single town in Delaware County and surrounding areas. Good luck.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, council.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? First public discussion session. If so, please approach the podium and state your name and address for the record. Good evening, sir. Name and address.
Lou Stevens. I'm actually from Middletown Township. I asked to speak tonight because I represent men and women from Delaware County,
Does that
Brookhaven.
require a vote of council, Mr. Wills?
Is this gentleman, he does not live in the borough, is that correct?
I live in Middletown, right up the street. My son lives in Brookhaven.
Okay, and do you pay any taxes in the borough? Do you have real
A
estate?
business? Anything?
No, I do not.
Have any businesses in the borough?
No, I do not, sir.
Then is purely discretionary as to whether Borough Council wishes to allow this gentleman to speak at the public meeting.
I don't think it requires a formal vote, does it? Is there anyone opposed to the gentleman speaking?
No.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. I'm here, my name's Lou Stevens. I represent men and women, working men and women in Delaware County. I'm here to introduce a responsible contracting ordinance. What the responsible contracting ordinance does is it puts some teeth in the bidding process. Instead of everyone having to take the lowest bid, which most of the time doesn't necessarily be the best product, it gives the township a little bit of teeth to make sure that they don't get the bad apples in. That they don't get the contractors that have grievances from payment, they haven't been disbarred, they haven't been sued.
Chief Vice just dealt with one and rightfully busted him. Yes, we understand how it works.
Yeah, believe me, I understand. They've been around for years. RCO, responsible contracting language, has been around for years in numerous municipalities around. They actually have been proven to save cost overruns on projects, which you'll get with a contractor that usually comes in with the lowest bid. They meet all the bonding requirements. They have clean safety records and hire the top craftsmen and women in the industry that all have completed a Class A apprenticeship program and are up to date on the safety licenses, certifications, and the changes in technology. We just feel it's taxpayer money, it's more bang for your buck. Usually costs, if you look at the contractors that do work with RCOs that can meet RCO language, their quality work speaks for itself.
You're speaking of contractors that the borough would hire.
Yeah, any public work projects.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Any taxpayer-funded projects.
So it's anything paid for, any contractor hired by the borough and the borough alone?
Yes.
That's my question. Okay.
Yes. We have an ordinance written up that's being used in Upper Darby, Springfield, Ridley. It's been introduced in Concord, Middletown, Radnor. We're trying to get it passed throughout the thing. You get a better quality project with more local talent, people from the neighborhoods that pay the taxes in the neighborhoods. You're not bringing in other people without the safety qualifications that we have or perform the type of work that we can perform. So we're just trying to get that out and see if we can't.
The only thing I can ask is you leave us information we can.
I can leave my information and a card for any questions at any time. Anyone wants to get in touch with me. I very new at this whole process. And the people that I work with on this that have been trying to teach me this will be glad to come in and speak at any time.
Okay.
Call, you know what I mean? Call me at any time, email. Are there any questions now?
Anyone?
Thanks again for giving me the time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Can I leave this with
Absolutely.
9 copies?
Oh, that's fine, that's great.
I gave 2 out.
No, you're fine.
I'll leave my information, if that's all right with you?
Yep, sure. You have it, yeah, I'll hand it to
Thank you.
the officer. Oh, great.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks again.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Lou.
Sure. Share it.
Oh, we pass them up.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak for public discussion? If so, approach the podium, state your name and address for the record, please. The first public discussion session is closed. Chief Vice.
Good evening. I just want to start off again by saying thank you to State Representative Leanne Kruger and her staff. This grant is huge for our borough, something that we fought pretty hard for. I know it took a little bit of time, but it is, I'm telling you, it is very deserved. This department is a great department. In the 9 months I've been here, we've done a tremendous amount, and this money is going to help make us even better. So I thank you sincerely. I thank you for all that you've done. It's a huge help for us. So just getting into my monthly report, our police department initiated or were assigned a total of 855 CAD assignments through Delcom for the month. Some of just to point out a few, we had 1 arson, we had 1 aggravated assault, 2 simple assault, 4 theft, 1 criminal mischief, 5 fraud, 1 sex offense, 3 DUIs, 1 public drunkenness, 2 disorderly conduct, 2 narcotics investigations, 33 suspicious conditions, 1 harassment, 23 domestic disputes, 72 medical assists, 4 mental health responses, 40 assist other departments, 18 alarms, 25 vehicle accidents, and 26 hazardous conditions or assist motorist calls. For the month, we had 20 adult arrests. We did have 1 juvenile arrest. The officers issued 95 citations for the month, 24 parking violations, and 105 warnings were issued. Just along the lines with the grant, our accreditation process is continuing. I continue to implement new policies almost weekly at this point. I would say we're probably about 40% through the policies. It's very labor intensive, but we're pushing ahead as quickly as we can and implementing these new policies. So I'm very happy with that. Along those lines also, Detective Havoc and I traveled to Harrisburg and attended accreditation manager training, which is a requirement for accreditation. It was very informative and is absolutely going to help us down the line. We also have started to receive some of our live scan equipment for the fingerprinting machine. That is starting to trickle in. We're making the necessary changes for that. We're also in a trial period for a new body camera system. It's through a company that's Visual Labs, and they partner with T-Mobile. These body cameras are unlike probably anything there's no department around here that has this. I will tell you that we are cutting edge if we do decide to go with them, which is my opinion that we should. Our district attorney I've had many conversations with him, and he has already approved us using forfeiture funds, which this borough, as a direct result of an arrest that we made, he has approved the use of those funds to basically support the body camera system program through the first 2 years, which again is huge for us. We are behind the times not having body cameras. We need them. We're in the trial period now, and I will tell you the officers want them. They use them. We are using them every shift, and it has already paid off for us, in my opinion. So the technology that is out there is unbelievable. So I'm really excited with a lot of things that this system offers. We'll probably be one of the first departments on the East Coast to have this when all is said and done. So I'm really excited about that. The other thing, which I know you're going to touch on, is our old detective vehicle. Hopefully we're going to be selling that was on municipal bid. That's something that I don't think our police department has done before. I see no reason when there's a vehicle that is no longer of service to us, why are we just throwing it out? Why are we not putting it out for bid and get some money for it? And I'm pretty excited about the results from the municipal bid, which I believe Mrs. Heller will.
So are we.
I think Mrs. Heller will touch on that.
Most money we've ever got.
And again, it seems foolish. There's no reason we shouldn't be doing everything we can. It's not also about spending money, it's about doing what we can to save money. And this is going to help us with replacing some outdated equipment that we desperately need. As far as training for the month, all of the police officers in our department attended in-house handcuffing training, which I will tell you is something I was shocked to learn was something that didn't happen here. That was only something they received in the police academy. So we now are receiving that every year. We will have recertification training every year. We also had in-service training, which is required through our certification for control tactics. So that was completed. We also completed, all of us did our OC and baton training recertification for the year. And the thing I would add with that is that was all done in-house because we now have our own certified instructor. So we're not paying to send officers out to get this training. We're doing it all in-house. So again, I think that's a little bit of a cost savings for us too. In addition, Officer Wetton attended his monthly SWAT training. I would like to congratulate Officer Ryan Eastman and Jordan on the birth of their son, Rhett. Rhett is home. He arrived a little earlier than expected, but everybody is doing fine. Ryan looked a little tired coming into work today, but otherwise I think they're doing just fine. We recently donated 21 bulletproof vests that will be sent to Ukraine, and I do want to thank the Delaware County FOP Lodge 27, in particular Vice President Iserman, as well as our own Officer Barth for their hard work in taking care of this. There were vests that were no longer serviceable for us, but they have a purpose, and we're glad that we could do that. The last thing I'll touch on is we have received numerous complaints about stop sign violations and speeding on Chandler Drive. Our department has been aggressively enforcing violations in this area. I myself have been out there because I wanted to see what was going on. I'm asking everyone to exercise caution in our residential areas and be mindful of your speed, and to also stop at all posted stop signs. And you may or may not be surprised to hear that many of the violations are committed by local residents. So I'm asking everybody, please, for the sake of our children and everybody else that's out there, slow down and please stop at the stop signs.
Did you pull over Mrs. Sawicki's Mazda by any chance?
I did not. I pulled over several people and they were a little shocked, but it was not Mrs. Sawicki.
Do you think speed humps would solve the issue? Really put you on the spot here.
Honestly, temporarily maybe, but people are going to do what they're going to do. I mean, it's common sense, to be honest, and I hate to dummy it down like that, but you're in a residential area, slow down. The extra couple seconds it takes you to get somewhere, you're going to get there because you're getting there safely. It's that simple. I mean, it's really that simple.
Chandler's bad.
It is bad, and I know people use it as a cut through.
I was surprised at the car volume there.
It's heavy, especially like even around lunchtime, morning time.
2,000 a day.
Yeah, it's busy, and we are out there. I'm telling you, these officers are out there, and like I said, I myself have been out there. So all I say is that we all just need to do our part in order to keep the community safe. And the last thing is just follow us on our Facebook and Twitter, because I'm constantly posting stuff, as I'm sure everybody's aware.
Yes, we are, sir.
That's all I have, unless you have any questions.
It's about time, too. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good job.
Chief Montella, sir. Good evening, Chief.
Good evening, council and residents. Brookhaven Fire Company's March 2022 fire report. We had 2 fire incidents in the borough, 15 non-fire, 25 for mutual aid, 6 training sessions, a total of 48. We've answered 163 fire calls so far this year. We did have no loss on structure or contents in the borough. We had 1 civilian injury, no firefighter injuries for the month. Manpower was 48 calls, 14 average firefighter per call, 791 hours in service for the month, 2,516 hours for the year, 6 training sessions, average of 30 firefighters, 474 hours of training for the month, actually ended up 1,000 hours of training for the year so far. We responded to the following incidents in Brookhaven Borough. We had a building fire at the KFC. We had a vehicle fire with a burn patient that the chief touched on that in the ShopRite parking lot. and we had one accident at Brookhaven Road in Bridgewater with injuries. We assisted Aston Township Fire Department on a building fire on Poplar Avenue. We assisted Middletown Fire Company on a construction equipment fire on Copes Lane in the apple orchard. Assisted Chester Fire Department on 3 building fires. Chester Township Fire Department, 4,000 block of Elson Road, Townsend Street, and 5 Commerce Drive. We assisted Garden City on 2 building fires, Walnut Road and Pennsylvania Avenue. We assisted Upland Fire Company on building fire on Church Street. We assisted Lower Chichester Fire Department on a 2nd alarm building fire on Ridge Road. And we handled an accident while we were covering up for Concordville Fire Company while they were on a 2nd alarm fire. We had an accident on Wilmington Westchester Pike. Our monthly training was building. We had a building construction class, brought in an instructor from the Camden City Fire Department, and he gave us a class on building construction. We had ventilation, operations class, and roof cutting on the old TD Bank, ladder operations. We did engine and truck work, as well as we set up a engine and truck guideline for Brookhaven Fire Company for all building fire responses. Brookhaven Fire Company was awarded 2 grants. We got the Pennsylvania State Fire and EMS grant. On the EMS side, we ordered 15 new bulletproof vests for our EMS personnel, and we received the Community Economic Development Grant through Senator John Kane's office, and we are picking up some more rescue tools, converting over from hydraulic to battery operated. And Chief will get you them old vests when we get the new ones, and we can ship them to Ukraine too. And also, we're going to have the Chris Kangas 20-year memorial service for his passing on May the 5th at 7 p.m. at the firehouse. Anybody from council or the town can attend that. It's a memorial service we have for Chris every year, but it'll be 20 years that he was killed in the line of duty, responding to a call in Brookhaven Borough. So, on top of that, I hope council and the chief and Leanne enjoyed themselves at our 100th year anniversary banquet.
Some of us more than others.
Some of us, yes. We had a good time. Yes.
Or that.
So it was a good time had by all. We brought our life members back to that party that we had. It was a really good time, and it really meant a lot to our older members that aren't actively running anymore or just can't, their body won't let them run anymore. But it was a great night had by all, but appreciate everybody that showed up.
It was a great time, and we all thank you for the invite.
Yep.
We wish you could do it monthly.
Yep. And we'll be celebrating our 100th anniversary with an open house on the June the 4th. It's a Saturday at 12 noon. So there's
Council?
tickets in the office here. Tickets are free, just to count for food for that day. Any residents, anybody wants to come to that, you can pick up tickets in the office with the secretaries during the day, or come to the fire station and we have them there as well. So anybody.
What time is that one for? 12 to 4.
12 to 4. Yep.
And
So-
council will have our presentation and goodies for you at the June meeting.
Okay, sounds good. Our ambulance report for March 2022, we slowed down a little bit since the month before with the COVID. Our total alarms, we had 186 ambulance calls for the month. 116 were dispatched ALS emergencies, 70 BLS emergencies. We had 83 local alarms and 103 mutual aid. And to the date, the ambulance service for Brookhaven Fire Company has answered 700 ambulance calls. So it's really busy, but we got a little break last month.
How's the COVID positives?
COVID positives on the ambulance end are very low. Thinking people must be realizing they don't need to call the ambulance every time they're sick. I think a lot of people are just staying home when they get sick and just dealing with it that way. Really, almost none in the past month, so
Great.
it's pretty good. Even though numbers are rising, they're saying.
They have come up a little bit.
That's it, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Madam Mayor.
Good evening. I just have a couple little, thank you to State Rep Leanne for helping out with the grant funds. And thank you, Chief Montella, for the invite to the 100th anniversary banquet last week. I did mention it at the workshop, but you weren't here that night, last week. And the only other thing I have is we will have a veterans meeting Thursday, April 14th at 2 p.m. here at the Borough Hall, if there are any veterans that would wish to attend. Other than that, That's all I have.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Wills, sir.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A copy of the Solicitor's Report is on file with the Borough Secretary's office. In the event any members of the public would like to review that report. I have no action items for Borough Council's consideration this evening, but will briefly touch on a few salient points in my report. Number one, concerns the zoning hearing board application that have been filed for the property at 4233 Edgemont Avenue. The applicant's name is J. Tats Gifted Hands. They had sought a special exception to operate a tattoo parlor in the C1 zoning district. By order dated March the 8th of 2022, the zoning hearing board had denied that application. The applicant had filed a timely appeal in the Delaware County Court of Common Pleas. No hearing date has yet been scheduled by the court on that appeal petition. Second item concerns the property in the 700 block of Marshall Road. I've been working with the code enforcement officer with regard to various property maintenance citations that have been filed against the property owner, and we were successful in the Brookhaven Regional District Court last month on those citations. And finally, the property at 4580 Edgemont Avenue, that is the Dunkin' Donuts property. Again, I've been working with the fire marshal's office concerning an NOV that we had to file, basically a notice of violation against the property owner regarding an inoperable fire alarm system. And again, I believe that remains outstanding, and that case is still ongoing, and we'll continue to work with Fire Marshal's office and apprise Borough Council of that particular situation.
Jay, I have a quick question in reference to that, and it's probably more for Chief Montella. In that particular case, since they don't have a working fire alarm system, does that mean that they have a fire watch in place?
During the day when they're operating, yeah, but at night, if
They
they're
all-
not dialing out, nobody's gonna see it until
They
it
have-
comes out.
We have given the property owner 30 days to abate that violation notice. So the clock is running, and obviously, if the property owner doesn't effect repairs, certainly the borough could take additional incremental steps, which would include the revocation of the occupancy certificate. With no occupancy certificate, the business cannot validly remain open. And with that, I can report general progress.
Do we not have to vote on the issue?
He's going to handle that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, Mr. Vasquez is, okay, my bad. Sorry about that. Mr. Catania, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. Submitting my report, a couple things I do want to mention is the Brookhaven Glen development. The 200 building is getting close to being ready for people to move in. The developers presented plans for the occupancy of that building while construction is still progressing. Provide a copy of that to emergency services for their comments, and we'll get back to the developer once I hear back from all of them. We have Charles Avenue Sanitary Sewer Project. We've been working on this for a little bit. We're finalizing the design and bid documents. Expect to have that out for bid by the end of this month for a bid opening in May. And I have 3 action items. The first one is the motion to authorize the storm sewer repair at 413 Camelot Drive.
Who would like the motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any questions? Motion carries.
The second one is a motion to authorize the storm sewer repair at 4801 Cooper Road.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any questions? Motion carries.
And the final one is the motion to authorize an application to PennDOT for the installation of curb and sidewalk in front of the Eaton Park along Edgemont Avenue as part of the Popeyes development.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed or questions? Motion carries.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I have a couple items. I have a very brief COVID update county cases, I should say, have ticked up from the high teens to the 30s. It all appears to be the new variant. I forget the name and number of the variant, but it has ticked up. Like the previous variant, it appears to be mild and nothing to be all that concerned about. What month are we in? The March Codes Enforcement Report, Mr. Koppel issued 35 citations. That is a mix of residential and commercial citations and warnings. I need a motion to approve the March 7, 2022 council meeting minutes.
I'll make the motion.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or questions? Carries. Motion to approve the March 28, 2022 council workshop minutes.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, questions? Motion carries. I have a brief, not so brief, resolution regarding Ukraine. A resolution of the Borough of Brookhaven, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, in support of Ukraine. Whereas the Russian Federation recently violated international peace and security agreements and amassed hundreds of thousands of troops on Ukraine's border, and whereas Vladimir Putin has now launched an unjust and unwarranted invasion upon the peaceful nation of Ukraine, and whereas Russian soldiers are currently sweeping through the country, inflicting violence and terror upon millions of civilians, and destroying homes, businesses, and properties, and whereas the United States has galvanized the international community and her allies to impose the strongest possible sanctions on Russia and its financial institutions in response to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and whereas Pennsylvania is home to over 100,000 Ukrainian Americans and home to millions who care deeply for and stand strongly in support of the Ukrainian people, now therefore be it resolved that we, the Borough Council of the Borough of Brookhaven, proudly stand alongside Ukraine, its people, and its leaders during this horrific and unnecessary war, and vow to support Ukraine, and condemn in the strongest possible terms Vladimir Putin's violent attack on the people of Ukraine, and strongly endorse the swift and severe economic sanctions and stringent export controls that the United States government has imposed on Russia, and urge Russia to immediately cease its violent, illegal, and immoral assault upon Ukraine, end the needless bloodshed, and return to diplomacy and the rules-based international order that has ensured peace and prosperity for so many. What is the pleasure of the council?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any questions, any opposed? That carries.
That's 012, resolution 012.
I should add, with our resolution and with the wonderful work of the Brookhaven Borough Police Department donating 21 ballistic vests to the Ukrainian effort, the Brookhaven Hometown Hero Committee also voted 9-1 to donate the proceeds of the 521 Hometown Hero Banner Auto Show directly to fighters in the country of Ukraine. That is pending a vote from our partner, the Auto Club, that we work with. And I have one little bit of business news. Don't mean to steal it from Mrs. Fuchs, but I had it on my notes. Chipotle is interested in coming to the borough, as is a pediatric orthodontist, and they wish to occupy the Verizon building, former Verizon stores. That is all I have. So
Okay, thank you. We do have bills to pay this month, and I will explain. Road fund, $1,543. Sewer fund, $6,171. General fund, $60,827.52. Trash fund, $3,040.40, for a total this month of $71,541.52. So I'm going to make a motion that we do approve the bill list for this month.
who wants the second?
I'll second it.
Wait for Mrs. Heller to come back.
No problem.
Okay.
She's working with our junior councilwoman, Lucy. Don't do it to yourself, Lucy, ever. It was the motion to approve the bill list.
Yes,
We have a
that's
first
correct.
and a second. I'm telling Mrs. Heller, sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or questions? Motion carries.
Okay, the next item I do have is we do have a resolution regarding shredding of municipal records. We do this periodically, and because of the pandemic, we haven't done it for a while. But most of the documents in fact, all the documents we're going to be shredding this week are basically for the finance department from 2013 to 2015. Records such as deposit slips, checks, canceled checks, bank statements, and things of that nature. We have to keep things for 7 years, and these do comply. So I'm going to make the motion that we do pass the resolution for 2022.
Who wants a second?
A second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or questions? Carries.
That's resolution 013.
Okay, the next thing I do have is we did receive notice last week that our road fund money, liquid fuels money, $209,919.83 did come in March 31st. So that's just a notice Delilah wanted me to let you know. And in last week's Town Talk, on the front page was the article about Upper Darby and the trash rebate. This is just for information purposes. Brookhaven has had the trash rebate for our residents for at least 20 years. So if anybody has income under $35,000 per household, we have forms in the office, you could apply, and it's similar to the one that the state has. It's basically 100% would be, if you made less than $17,500, you would be eligible for 100% rebate. Now, right now, the bill for trash is about $261, so you would get that back. But it is household, and you do have to fill out the forms and give the copies of your tax paperwork. And the full percent is, well, if you got 35,000 and it's just one person, 35,000 is 50%. Anybody who's at 17,005 is the 100%. But the information is at the office. I just wanted to, it brought it to my attention that maybe some residents may not know about this, because this was the front page of the Town Talk last week. And since Upper Darby is implementing it, we've had for many, many years, and I'm hoping people, and we just increased it from 25,000 to 35,000. So more people should be able to be eligible. The state increased it, and we piggyback on Harrisburg, the rebate they do, so. And it only applies to trash, the trash fee that you pay, so. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Weggie. Mrs. Fuchs.
Thank you. Well, I initially did not have any ordinance committee news, but now I do. Based on what we heard earlier today, I will take direction from council regarding the RCO discussion. If you would like me to bring that to the ordinance committee to see how they feel about this ordinance that was given to us tonight. So you just let me know once you review it. Shred Electronics will be held this Saturday, April 9th from 9 a.m. until noon at Coburn Elementary School parking lot. Everyone knows the drill. Anything with a cord is accepted. Nothing metal for shredding, and please do not combine shred and electronics together in one bag. The good thing is if you're planning on attending the baseball softball opening day parade, no worries. We'll be at Coburn until noon, so you can swing by after all the festivities. Rec Board news. So we met on Thursday, and the Rec Board unanimously voted Lois Beggs to fill their vacant seat, which Tom, I'm sure you're aware of. Lois has already been helping with the Easter egg signups for the Rec Board, so we appreciate everything she's done so far. So at this time, I would like to make a motion to appoint Lois Beggs to the Recreation Board.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any questions?
Thank you, and Lois?
Motion carries. Well, go ahead.
Welcome aboard. April 12th at 6 p.m. we'll be stuffing our Easter eggs here at Borough Hall in the gym or the community room. And April 16th will be our Easter egg hunt and pictures with the Easter Bunny. Pictures are at 10 a.m. and the hunt will begin promptly at 11. The hunt will take place behind Borough Hall, and we will utilize the length of the walking trail. This year will be a little different. We're changing the age categories to incorporate grades instead of ages, so we'll be 2 and under, 3 and 4-year-olds, kindergarten and first grade, 2nd and 3rd grade, and 4th and 5th grade. And I also did want to mention, during the Rec Board meeting, we did have a discussion regarding activities here in our gym for residents. for volleyball, yoga, things like that. We feel that it would be a really good addition to what we already offer the residents, and I didn't know how everybody felt about that. You know, if we wanted to talk about it tonight or maybe the next workshop meeting.
Which sports?
Which sports?
Yeah, which sports?
Volleyball, yoga, and maybe some other things. We haven't really talked in detail.
I don't have any issue. Anyone else?
Anyone have an
Depends
issue
on
with that?
scheduling.
Janice would like to play
No, we'll
dodgeball.
have a schedule. There absolutely will be a
No, I
schedule.
mean, we normally have basketball and different people, but already have a set schedule.
Well, it would be around basketball.
Yeah, it would be around.
Well, Harry would be able to tell you what dates.
Yeah, it would be the spring and summer, so, yeah. And we might be adding some more events too.
You gonna charge?
When do we have?
Very minimal, yes, just a few dollars. It's not a moneymaker, just enough to, you know. Everyone would have to sign a waiver for insurance purposes, every single person that comes in and participates in any event here in the building.
Is anyone on council not fond of the idea?
What would happen if we have someone want to rent the gym on Sunday?
That's a good question.
Well,
Was in your
Rentals usually.
I mean, if anything would be in the week, during the weekends, it would be like a Saturday morning, like yoga on a Saturday morning. I would like to have maybe volleyball be one night during the week. I play volleyball, and so I would be here, but it doesn't always have to be on a Saturday or a Sunday. So,
Yeah, I wouldn't do Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
Oh, it's quiet back there.
not even Saturday morning, like 8 a.m. on a Saturday, 9 a.m. on a Saturday
Sometimes you
morning?
got stuff booked and the gym's gotta be set up.
He's worried about tips. You have to tip him when you play volleyball.
Okay.
Well, we could talk about that. We'll finalize some kind of a schedule or a calendar.
I'll tip you, Harry.
on that.
Not like I'm gonna be playing.
Okay,
Oh, wait.
so, April 24th, we'll have another senior art program paint night here in the community room. May 21st is our Hometown Heroes Car Show at Coburn Elementary. And I did want to mention that due to a scheduling conflict, the chili cook-off will no longer be held in May. It will be rescheduled for sometime in the fall, and we'll provide more information as that event gets closer. And lastly, I just want to remind everyone, I noticed that, well, actually, when I was driving in today, I live right by one of the parks, and one of the children stepped in something on the grass, and the grandparents were not too happy cleaning off their shoes. So I just want to remind everyone to please clean up after your animals. If you're going to be in a park, even though they're not supposed to be in a park, it happens, please clean up after your animals. That's all my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Fuchs. Mrs. Heller.
So we'll just start with the motion. I'm going to make a motion to accept the bid for the sale. Okay, making a motion to accept the bid for the sale of the borough's 2010 Ford Explorer police vehicle in the amount of $8,000 from Christopher Hayden, who is the successful bidder, contingent on payment of the purchase price in full within 30 days.
Who wants the second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any questions?
No, but we're very happy. That's
Yes,
the most money
very
we've
happy.
ever gotten for a used police car.
Very happy.
None opposed. Motion carries.
And we're very happy.
That is, I can't believe it. I didn't think you get one bid. Oh, I know.
So on Saturday, March 12th, President Heller, Councilwoman Fuchs, Rec Board President Tom Dykes, and myself met via Zoom with the Brookhaven Girl Scouts leaders and a few of their members in reference to 6 of their young ladies that are starting their process to receive their silver award. It's similar to the Boy Scouts Eagle Scout Award. The ladies presented us with some of their projects that they are looking to actually get approval from the Girl Scouts of America. They are going to come to our next meeting to present their projects that they would like to do, but mostly it's to add beautification to our parks. So more to come for that. They have to actually complete 50 hours of community service as part of their project. So their hour that they spent with us is part of that community service when they come and present their project to us. That will be part of their process as well, but they have to do a formal written proposal. They have to do it themselves. They have to actually have a team that will help them complete their project. So I'm looking forward to seeing them next month and what they have to present to us. Baseball and softball will have their opening day parade this Saturday, the 9th. It starts at 9 a.m. at the Faith Church on Edgemont. So please come out and cheer on our youth programs. As we were talking, Marianne and I were saying we're going to just have all sunny days every weekend until the end of summer. That's what the game plan is. We are also going to meet with, Councilwoman Fuchs and I are going to meet with, as well as Rec Board President Tom Dykes, with baseball and softball tomorrow night to discuss and review the actual greenways, trails, and recreation program grant to discuss lights for the Memorial Park and Sampson Park. So more to come with that. We also had a fire committee meeting on Wednesday, the 31st of March. We've reviewed the financial timelines for our 2 new trucks. A lot of the stuff the chief already covered. I did see that the bag bingo is sold out, so I'm not sure if there's anything that can be just donated to also participate in the bag bingo, but I see that it's sold out, so hopefully it's a huge success. So
It usually is.
yes, it is. And please come out to the June 4th opening house from 12 to 4, and don't forget to get your tickets.
When's the grant application due in May?
May 31st.
All right.
It has to actually go through, we have to actually get it in the state rep's hands, so she can also get it into Senator Kane's hands for actual
Correct.
letters for
All right, well, she was urging, was Representative Kruger invited to tomorrow's meeting?
No, she is aware of the meeting though, because we had discussed it at
Okay.
the firemen's 100th anniversary. We had told her that
All right,
we were having.
well, she asked me prior to the meeting.
Yep, so she knew that it was coming.
That is urgent.
Yep.
I mean, they've been asking for lights for years. It's a rare opportunity to get a light grant where there's only a 15% match. Both leagues deserve it, so.
So that's,
Hopefully, we have great chances once it's in our hands.
that's the end of my report.
Mrs. Heller, I have
Yes.
with the Girl Scouts.
Yes.
If they need some time, the Boy Scouts used to come and help with the shredding events. There's 3 hours right there of community service.
So their community service, how we understood it, had to be part of their project. So some of their projects that they're looking to actually do is anything that's like kind of like in the park. One of those things was to, to do like a mural over at Eaton Park. So they each had to present a project. They were still kind of working out the details, and they also still had to get the authorization, I guess the blessing from the Girl Scouts Council as well. So they wanted to reach out to council first, give us their thoughts to make sure that we were okay with some of the ideas that they had. And for the most part, the 6 or 7 ideas that they had were not something that we would not be, opposed to at all. So.
Have they made contact since that meeting, the Zoom meeting?
No, so I will be reaching out to Kate.
Yes.
But even if you speak to the leaders,
Yes, I'm
if the
gonna
girls
reach out to her.
need like a badge for recycling.
Yes.
Recycling event is always.
Well, we
good.
also talked about the Earth Day.
They have a service award that they can do, and then those hours will fit for that.
Yes, but we also discussed the cleanup for Earth Day as well, and doing it on a quarterly basis where the Girl Scouts would help out with all the parks and come and do a cleanup. And we were going to kick it off for Earth Day on the 21st. So that was it for the most part.
Thank you. Mr. Pappas, sir.
Mr. President, my committees did not meet this month, so I have no report.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Vasquez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now I'll start off with a motion to hire 2 seasonal summer employees for Public Works, one of which we already know he's going to be returning from our last season. The date in which they would start would be 4/11 at the rate of $16 an hour. I guess, should I do 2 separate motions?
Separate motions, please.
So the first motion would be to hire Andrew Guthrie, the rate at $16 an hour, starting on the 11th.
Who wants the second?
That's fine.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or any questions? Motion
And
carries.
The second one would be to hire another seasonal employee who's going to be, we're going to have interviews out again because we don't have anybody else who's presenting any interest at this time. The hiring date is to be determined after the interviews.
Perfectly fair, same rate, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Who wants the second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed or questions? Motion carries.
All right, on to the Public Works report. For sanitary and storm sewer, 3755 Susan Lane, there was a issue reported by the homeowner. Public Works went out, checked their street, and there was no issues found on our end. The issue was on the homeowner. The sewer main cleaning and televising, we've cleaned 29 sections of sanitary sewers on 12 streets. Our year-to-date total is 70. Televised 2 sections of storm sewer mains on Camelot. Working with Colleen from Catania Engineering on the 2021 wastewater treatment plant Chapter 94 report. Also, just to touch base on that, we've moved a whole bunch of stuff around to clear way for the construction starting on the wastewater treatment plant. Sinkholes, 4894 Jackson Drive, there's a sinkhole in storm sewer. Hole was filled with dirt and stone. 413 Camelot Drive, sinkhole on the storm sewer line. We used our camera to check the line. There's no issues found, but the holes that were in the soil were filled with dirt and stone. 3700 block, Susan Lane. The issue was with the Chester Water Authority with that sinkhole, which unfortunately we thought all along, but now they finally are correcting this issue. ATU raised a manhole cover on Edgemont and Brookhaven Road for us to inspect further. The first quarter chipping is now completed with a total of 26 stops. Chips and debris were removed from a downed tree on Meadowbrook Lane. There's a dead tree reported at the rear of 4916 Jackson Drive that we went out there to check out. 7 hero banners, hometown hero banners throughout the town were repaired or picked up. Unloaded new equipment from the sewer plant that was delivered on site. 41 PA one-call tickets were answered. Our year-to-date is 105. On to the parks. The Public Works team checked and found issues in each park with the security cameras. All these issues have been corrected now, and the cameras are operating as they should be. We are still working on the electrical issues at Memorial. Hopefully we have something done soon. Sampson Garcia Memorial Playground equipment has been inspected, and we are working on making minor repairs to that equipment as fast as possible. Water has now been turned on all the parks. A leak that was sprung up in Memorial has been remedied. For the softball parks, or softball fields at Coburn, we removed 4 inches of dirt on that field, and we're going to be making that playable for softball. We did this with the Public Works team instead of bidding this out because it was a much, much, much cheaper option.
Bid was $33,000.
They did a nice job. I watched them when they were.
They're doing,
Yes.
they're doing the
Very
same
nice job.
job at $33,000.
Sean was driving the truck.
Yes, and we try to do it with the least minimum amount of impact done to the field because it is a wet field. I
Exactly.
mean, we live in Brookhaven. It is what it is.
They did a nice job.
So we're waiting. Yeah, we're waiting on the Diamond Tex. I believe it'll be here 2 weeks, and we should be able to level all that back out, and hopefully they can enjoy the new
You still
field.
need to shave the hump down in deep right field also.
In due time.
Yeah.
They will.
That shouldn't be hard.
Let's see, where was I? We fixed the keypad at the main door of Memorial Park. The retention pond was cleaned up per the engineer's instructions at Durkin. No incidents or accidents to report. Oh, I'm sorry. Disregard that. No accidents to report. 1 minor injury that required first aid only. And that is the end I have for my Public Works report. On to the zoning hearing board. The board had met with, there's some people here from Jai's Tats, Gifted Hands here today. They denied the application. Myself was floored by the decision that was deliberated. I mean, we have an empty business with somebody willing to come in. And again, I was floored by it. So with that being said, and if Borough Council wishes to join me, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the Borough Solicitor to intervene in the land use appeal filed in the Delaware County Court of Common Pleas by J. Tats Gifted Hands LLC regarding the property at 4233 Edgemont Avenue.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or questions? Motion carries.
And one final motion would be the motion to eliminate the compensation appropriated for the position of the zoning hearing board secretary.
Who wants the second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Again, sorry for everything that happened there, and I hope we can come to a quick closure. And that is the end of my report. Oh, and one last thing.
Welcome back, Steve Reed.
Welcome back, Steve Reed.
That's right.
And
That's
one more
right. He's
thing.
back.
I'd like to congratulate Jay Wills
Jay.
Yeah, that's right.
for being named one of the top lawyers in government.
I don't know how much he paid for the honor.
To be determined.
We did congratulate him on Facebook the other day, too. Jay's not on Facebook, but
And that is the end of my
got
report.
7 likes at least. You got plenty of nice likes and comments. You actually did. Mr. Gilroy, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have one announcement. Wednesday, April 20th at 7 p.m., the Historical Committee will be meeting here in the council chambers. That's the end of my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Leslie is excused.
He's still working.
Mr. Gavin, sir. Thank you, sir. Brings us to the second public discussion session. If there's anyone that would like to speak, public discussion, please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record. Anyone? No? Lucy, you want to come up? No? Second public discussion session is closed. Council, anything from any of you? Mr. Catania? Mr. Wills?
Nothing.
Everyone at that side, the kids' table, have anything else to add?
The only thing I would mention was, I neglected to mention when I talked about our in-house trainer, Detective Abbott stepped up and he volunteered for that certification training.
Okay.
It was pretty intense. I saw the bruising and stuff when he came back. It was like, what happened? So I do just want to thank him for that because not only was it cost savings, but he put a lot of time and effort into that. So I do appreciate it.
That was in the gym, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook. You got beat up, huh? Good. I didn't mean it that way. I did not. I really didn't mean it that way. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.